Shalom, shalom. Call I am not Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Akwadash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone. Shalom to you, Akim in the faith, doing the work in truth and sincerity. Abaratazada's lessons, edifying and straight to the point. The title and name of this lesson is Arrested Development. And the name or the word Arrested Development defines to be, in Esau's terms, a person emotional or emotions, I can't read it because my screen messed up, Salakia. Emotional or psychological growth stops prematurely, often due to trauma, neglect, or dysfunction, leaving them stuck in childhood behaviors or thinking despite of their physical age. So in other words, people not growing up, people not maturing, people not ripening, people either degrading, which is going down, or remaining the same, and remaining constant is ultimately going down. And that's what we see with a lot of the adults in society today, and a lot of grown folks, and that's why they think, age is such a superior thing. And this title or this lesson isn't about age. It's about people that get stuck in progress, people that get left behind and think that they're in still a same time period. Like Young Thug, for an example, thinking that, to the real world that people actually respect these different things which he takes so seriously. And where I got the inspiration to do this lesson is from the Lord, first and foremost, but secondly, is from academics, DJ academics, speaking about Jim Jones and a whole bunch of dudes that are around his age that dress a certain way and speak this jargon, which is nonsense, man. Jake was calling them out, and even Jake of the World, could see that, that Jake is through out here, man. Jake, a grown-ass man, acting like a child, man. Acting like a 20-year-old, crash out 20-year-old, man. How you a grown man, you don't got nothing to show the youth besides foolishness. Comedy. You ain't got the only thing you got is a few awards which you want to stunt on people, and this is not about, Jim Jones. This is about grown folks not growing up, man. People still thinking they in high school. People, people just not having no substance. You can't have a deep conversation within. They don't know nothing. They never seen nothing. They don't want to be nothing. They don't want to do nothing, And we ain't talking about knowledge of this world, of course. We're speaking about knowledge of this Bible. That's what they need first and foremost. But, a lot of people are just so empty, So how much more so when it comes to the scriptures? Masses could never consume this, man. The scriptures read, Proverbs 1:7, fear the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. Hey, the scriptures even tell us to not cast our pearls before swine because they'll run after us, man. And there's no excuse for age, or there's no excuse for maturity because as a young man, the Lord gave Jeremiah rulership and appointed him to be a leader. Jeremiah 1:5, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. I appointed you as a prophet to the nation. So you have those who actually have advanced development, rather than arrested development. And it's something sad to see because it's almost someone that's brain dead. But the book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 warns us of these things. And that's how you go, it goes to show you that money ain't everything, because Jake got status, he got wealth, he got fame, he got a whole bunch, but, he's still getting put down, by the truth, and the truth hurts. This is the book of 2 Corinthians, or 1 Corinthians chapter 13, almost there, verse 11. When I was a child, I spake as a child, I understand as a child. I thought as a child, but when I became a man, I put away those childish things, So there's certain things that we did, or what was normal or cool to do or acceptable at a certain age and point in time, that must be abandoned, once you keep progressing, you reach in different stages, man. And it's not even about an age, because if you're running with a crew of mature guys, you got to catch up and adapt. You can't say, just because I'm this age, you got to... Yeah, you're still going to have some leeways. You're still going to have some ways about yourself because of your age. But, you got to trim them quicker because you're running with the sharks. and they're not going to slow down and trim their ways for you. You know, when I say the sharks, I'm speaking about the men of the Lord, you know, chasing victory. Or the lions, we could say. This is the book of Luke, chapter 2, verse 49. I want to start at verse 48. You know, go to showing you maturity of Yahweh Shai, our Lord, who works when he calls Jesus Christ. You know, him being about, you know, what he's supposed to be about, having his mindset all right. And when they saw him, they were amazed, and his mother said unto him, Son, why hast thou not dealt with us? Behold, thy father and I have sought thee sorrowing. And he said unto them, How is it that ye sought me? Was ye not that I must be about my father's business? And they understood not the saying which he spake unto them. And, you know, he went on. And that's Yahweh Shai, you know, replying to his mother, you know, saying that he's about his father's business, man. He's about his father's mission. He can't stop for the, you know, antics which they, you know, may be presenting at that time. That is not, you know, aiding to the course of the mission. I want to get Khan. So, you know, with that, Lord, this is edifying, you know, straight to the point. You know, so you definitely want to be aware of those who have arrested development and steer clear from them. You know, that's all it's about. You know, that's what is it called? The word I'm looking for. Discernment is all about. You know, is grading and ranking and establishing. You know, and respecting, because that saves you time, patience, and a lot of headache. That's what being in the military and high intelligence is about.